Everything good? Okay, good. Prison populations, they change so fast. The dynamics is very different from day to day. So we need to be on the ground, talking with the inmates, talking with the staff, talking with the management. Otherwise, we're just giving advice from a far distance. Then there's no reason for us to be here.
GMCP approach has always been to deliver expert support through embedded mentoring. We believe that the most effective change in an environment like prisons can only be driven by working with the beneficiaries.
Prisons are always a challenging environment in which to deliver a strong human rights framework. But in a post-conflict country such as Somalia, the challenges are even greater. We're very pleased to have partnered with the Swedish Prison and Probation Service to try and meet this particular challenge in the Somali prison sector.
The Horn of Africa program has two main lines of work. It delivers maritime law enforcement support to our beneficiaries, as well as a correction support. In particular, the correction side of the program delivers three outputs. The first one is the Piracy Prisoner Transfer Program. The second one is the Prevention of Violent Extremism in Prisons. And the third one relates to broader prison work, whereby we support our end users with specific interventions to build their capacity in prisons.
So that's why we want the training of trainers for the cadets, so they in the long run can train new cadets.
What's been going on here is it's a cell search. One additional information we have is that yesterday they received a big batch of medicine in terms of tramadol, which are not supposed to be in here. Tramadol has been a problem in the past, and it's also actually created one inmate to die from overdose. Our role as mentors here are to observe mainly when the search is going down. It follows a red line in terms of education, how to search, doing the searches, and then follow up. We're actually allowed to speak with the prisoners when the search is done, and also between the stations. So we get a general perception of how the inmates feel they're being treated. It's very good for our continuous work with the Puntland Custodial Corps. I think it also shows, which you can see, the transparency that actually exists at the moment.
This is our vocational training area. Currently we have a welding course. It's a 3-month course available for the inmates. The vocational training here is funded by the UNODC. The purpose of the vocational training is so the inmates will learn some sort of craft, and hopefully that will prevent them committing crimes in the future. So they will instead have a better chance of getting a job outside of the prison when they are released.
Right now I'm learning welding, and I've also done some electrical installation classes. I didn't have these kind of skills before I came here, and I'm very lucky to have picked up these skills, and he said I would like to work in either the skills I've picked up from my welding classes or from my electrical installation classes.
Inmates that are occupied with vocational training, they are much more calmer. They much more have a tendency to follow the rules and regulation, and the whole prison population is affected in a positive way, which also affects then the staff, of course, and also affects the work that we are doing, because it makes it easier for us as well to provide and try to aim for better things and sustainability for the future.
According to management, we have two different programs. One program for prison commanders. There we train prison managers who already are working as managers, but we want them to improve certain skills. And then we have a program where we reach out to younger staff, because if we train them and they understand Mandela rules, they understand international standards, they will also be able to run the prison themselves.
The sessions that I have took during the last training was dynamic security, self-defense, categorization and classification of the inmates. It was important for me because it was a part of my duty to protect the rights of the inmates and also to do my job and also to maintain the safety and the security of the prison.
Do you have anything, any suggestions that we can put into that course? Combined with these basic trainings, we're trying to follow up on everything that we teach during the mentoring on post. So on a daily basis, we're trying to approach the staff and ask them questions and give them tips and hints and advices on how to kind of improve and tweak those small details to always get better and better and better.
Many of the very dangerous criminals we have in Hargelsa prison, they were trained in either Afghanistan or Sudan or other countries. A lot of these terrorists don't see national boundaries. And so it's very important that we understand that we have to work with other countries, other nations all over the world to tackle this issue. And by helping us, they're also helping the world.
The focus of the prison mentors in preventing violent extremism is particularly on dynamic security and enhancing the interaction between prison staff and prisoners and being able to identify the rehabilitation intervention that would ensure rehabilitation of the prisoners and successful reintegration upon their release.
There's a project that we're actually conducting now. The program is targeting the general prison population, but focusing on individuals deemed to be at risk of joining violent extremist groups like Al-Shabaab. And the aim is to have a holistic approach with psychological and educational and family interactions.
So do you have your family close here?
There's no family from Mogadishu.
From Mogadishu.
What is happening today in Garowe, it's the International Monitoring Committee, also known as the IMC. The International Monitoring Committee brings together donors to the programs and other member states who have a stake in the program. We want to showcase that there is progress, a good progress that is being made both in Garowe and in Hargelsa. And we want them to interact freely with the prisoners, and we also offer to them a platform to discuss issues that are relevant for the program, but also for Somalia at large.
From my part, it's really important that we, from the Office of International Affairs back in Sweden, are visiting our mentors that are out in the field, and also take back the knowledge and also the experience that they are having here as part of a larger, to actually also give back to also maybe the Global Maritime Crime Program, for this example, a better understanding of how to enhance the prison service and being part of that policy making as well towards, for example, United Nations, in this case UNODC.
What are your convictions? Being here physically, speaking to the prisoners, speaking to the convicts, get their personal stories, where are they from in Somalia, why are they here, what are their aspirations. It's certainly special, and it's very also motivating in terms of actually having that subsequent dialogue with the Puntland authorities to discuss what are the areas of improvements seen from also the prisoner side to make this facility even more impressive than it already is.
I'm mentoring, I can come with advice, but I cannot take any decisions for the prison. I can just give advice.
Our international mentors are very important. First of all, they train our staff. What they do is they try to help us understand that despite our limitations in funding and financing, and despite the other problems that we have, we still have a responsibility to the international community to uphold human rights, to uphold international standards of prisoner welfare.
Through the program, the Custodial Corps have recruited some cadets who have graduated through our capacity building courses and are now filling posts of duty officers in different prisons in Somaliland. And they are somehow the reflection of the work that our mentors do in the prison. They are really putting forward the professionalism of the Custodial Corps.